Countdown to Kickoff is brought to you and supported, as it always is, by Saltire Energy, the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment rental, and also by Craig International, who are paving the way for global sustainable procurement. With concern for the environment at the front of everybody's minds, Craig International are committed to helping their customers work more sustainably and are taking steps within their own business to reduce their carbon footprint. Our industry-leading EcoBuy initiative allows them to work with suppliers to ensure sustainable product options are available at all levels. This is a fundamental part of their business strategy, and they're dedicated to ensuring that real progress is made. And I would also like to thank Abu Dhabi-based Quipco International, who are a manufacturing and repair services company who service the oil and gas industries. I would personally like to thank Alan Cameron, owner, for coming on board at ABTV and offering me his help with a sponsorship deal. In return, I'll be doing some PR and communications for them. It's match day tomorrow at the Global Energy Stadium. We're up at Ross County. Some big games going on in the top six. Rangers host Hibs. Can we get back into third place with a win? And Hearts take on Dundee United on Sunday. So some very important fixtures coming up this weekend as we try to build our way back to third place after a very decent win against Motherwell last week. Hello everybody, how you doing? A very warm welcome to Ali Beg ABTV this Friday night as we count down to kick off against our big game against Ross County up in Dingwall tomorrow. So I know originally I said that I wasn't going to be doing a show tonight because I was supposed to be having surgery. Well, that surgery has been put back a couple of weeks. Hey, it is what it is. It's just... I saw my doctor yesterday and he just basically said we need to wait another couple of weeks before we do the procedure. So here we are, every cloud. So how are you doing? Is everybody all right? Get in touch tonight because it is an important game tomorrow. We've got to try and cement our position in third place, especially ahead of the split. We've got some very important games coming up in the next few weeks. We've got some players missing as well. Dimitar, Christos and Sievert are all missing, but Dimitar and Christos are training. Sievert needs at least another couple of weeks. So big games coming up. Don't forget the semi-final as well. Rangers coming up as well. So yeah, it's an important period in the calendar. So get in touch. Tell me how you're feeling. Tonight, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome to the show for the first time a bit of a DJ legend, Graeme Park. Huge Dons fans, and if you're right into that genre, this interview will be right up your street. I spoke to him yesterday from Sydney on Australia, where he's down there doing a few gigs. So we caught up about everything about the Dons. First and foremost, as we do on a Friday night, let's try and predict the team. And do you know what I've done? Oh, whoa, Ali, that's the wrong slate. This is the match stats. I'll come back to the team in just a moment. The Dons are unbeaten in our past 6 visits to Dingwall in the league, winning 3 and drawing 3. The Dons' last defeat at the Global Energy Stadium came during the COVID season when Ross County won 4-1 in January 2021. Aberdeen have won just one of their past 12 away league games. Meanwhile, the Dons have failed to score in 6 of their past 8 league matches on the road. So those stats just go to show you how much we need to improve away from Pittodrie. The referee tomorrow is Lloyd Wilson. On VAR is Greg Aiken. Right, Ali, let's get your house in order. Here we go. Right, so I'm going to predict the team. And do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stick with the same starting 11 that started against Motherwell last Saturday at Pittodrie. Now, I know by reading some of the comments online already that some of you would prefer Uday de Bag to play instead of Papa Gay. I get that. But I think just a little bit of consistency will do us good tomorrow. That's why I think he'll stick with the same team. And if I'm being honest, this is the team that I would like the manager to play tomorrow. So, talking of the manager, he gave his usual press conference today and he spoke of the importance of the Red Army.
I think it's the whole season has been so good. If you think back to the games we have played, like good times and good memories, but also in the tough times, they have always been there, and that's why we're still there in the table. It's a long journey, but this is it can be the difference for a whole season when you get this, like last time we played against Ross County, the energy and we push to the end and get this late goal, and so for us it has been important. The whole season is still important. It's going to be important in the future also. That's how we create a stronger club. For me, it's always the togetherness inside a club, not only the team, that everybody is contribute to the success of the club, and I think this connection has been strong the whole season, and it's not something you can take for granted. You have to always show up, and everybody has to feel that we can, as a team, do everything we can, try our best, and so I'm so happy for the support, and it's going to be also massive tomorrow.
Thank you, boss. Another sellout travelling support tomorrow. The away section is going to be absolutely packed, as it always is. So if you are heading up the road tomorrow, please travel safely and have an absolutely brilliant time. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a few of your comments on just to get going, and then we'll get Graeme Park on. So Gavin Wilson came on first of all and said, "Good evening. Jimmy's update on Mithoff and Toba's injury would be great to have them both back. Ross County desperate for some results, but hope we can carry our current form and win." Richard Mickey McMillan says, "Good evening, Ali. Can't wait until the Ross County game. Let's hope for a big win." Fraser Gunn is on, wishing you all well. "If we have all our players fit and available, who would be your first choice midfield pairing?" Well, I have to be honest, the way things have gone recently, I really like Ante and Leighton in there together. If you watched the review show from the Motherwell game, you will see where Andrew Budge and I discussed the impact of Leighton Clarkson and how that role really suits him. So let's see what happens tomorrow. Come about 2 o'clock, we'll get our team news. Gavin Wilson said, "I'd fancy seeing Shinnie at left back continue, Palaversa and Pulvara to see what they could do in midfield." Gordon Keith Ritchie says, "Good evening. Play the same team as last week, get a good winning run, and let's secure third spot." Gary Milne says, "Hi all, great night at the Ardor House last week. Thought the auction went on a little bit too long and we didn't get enough of you and the guys." Yeah, I have to say, that was the only sort of negative feedback that I got from last week, was that the auction did go on a little bit too long. So I've passed that feedback to the organisers of the event, because I also admit I thought it also went on a little bit too long as well. Richard Mickey McMillan says, "Shady as a sub, better impact." Kenny Salvin said, "Let's get a good result tomorrow. Let's get back into third and let's stay there." Colin Gale says, "I don't see many changes for the game tomorrow. One of them could be DeBag for Gay. It will be a difficult game and we just have to be patient." Barry Coles is wishing you all a good evening. "After last weekend, let's hope the team can keep up the level of performance. I'm up in Dingwall tomorrow with an overnighter in Inverness." Paul Hannon says, "Good evening. Heading to Dingwall tomorrow with our lucky charm Scott, my nephew. Has yet to be at a game when we've lost, so long may it continue." Ryan Ellington is on, wishing you all a good evening, as is David Horn. Sugarland says, "Same again for tomorrow with the reborn Clarkson staying in this new formation with Shinnie at left back." David Gold is here. How are we doing? As is Angela. Hi Angela, how are you? "I don't think we would change much from last weekend." Sue says good evening, as does Neil Sinclair. He's hoping you're all fine. Kirstine is on. She says, "Good evening, Ali and fellow dandies. Hopefully similar performance from last week and let's get a good win in Dingwall." James Jappy says, "Tough place to go, end of season. We're going to have to work 90 minutes plus for this one." David Gold Rally Vid says, "Can we take a moment to talk about the proposed league reconstruction? Personally, I think 10 teams is an absolute nonsense. An absolute nonsense. And I can't believe that it was even discussed. If anything, I think the league needs to be expanded more than anything. That's my own personal opinion. Of course, feel free to bat that one out the park and have your own say as well. Neil Sinclair says, hopefully tomorrow is another strong performance like the Motherwell game. YouTube. I love that. What a name. YouTube. Fit like, great atmosphere and result last weekend. Let's continue the momentum. The last 2 games before the split. Kilted Warriors here. How are we doing? Yeah, so some of you are already commenting that you would prefer a larger league than a smaller league. Neil Strachan is on, predicting a 4-1 win for the Dons tomorrow. Stuart Cleary says, quietly confident we're heading in the right direction again. It's going to be tough in Dingwall. Hopefully the newbies do us a favour tomorrow and let's get back into third. Alexander Wallace is here. How are we doing, Alexander? I hope you're well. It was lovely to meet you last week. He says, good evening, Dandy. Same 11 tomorrow. A win by any means is what we need at this time of the season. Momentum and consistency is crucial. Right, guys, we will come back to your comments in just a moment. But first, let's welcome our guest to Ali Beg AB TV. So, if you're into your house music, your garage music, all that kind of stuff, you will know this guy. Graeme Park, huge Aberdeen fan and one of the best DJs of our generation. Quite simply, majestical what he does with the decks. He's a genius. So he's down in Australia for a gig over the weekend, and so I caught up with him yesterday and we spoke about all things Dons. So please welcome to the show for the first time, Graeme Park. Hi Graeme, it's lovely to see you and thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule, particularly now that you're down in Sydney. So thank you for coming on.
No, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Let's talk about the P&J Live event, first of all, in July. Oh, I know it's a few months away, but fantastic to get booked for that, and you must be really looking forward to it.
Oh, absolutely. When Aberdeen Football Club ask you to do something, of course I'm going to do it. No, I had a great time about 18 months ago. I was up for the Gothenburg Greats event at the P&J, which was amazing, especially actually properly hanging out. And when I say properly hanging out, I mean properly hanging out afterwards with Miller, McGee, McLeish, Rugby, an amazing time. So I'm really looking forward to Don's Live, just the start of the season and getting everyone excited. I think it's a good, exciting thing to do for the club.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's a fantastic event. So let's chat about the Dons. What have you made of our season so far? It's been a wee bit up and down, eh?
It's been a roller coaster. That start was amazing, absolutely amazing. I couldn't believe it. Getting loads of grief off my fellow Scottish football fans because every time taking screenshots of Aberdeen at the top of the table and just posting it, even if it was just for 24 hours, and ignoring all the comments, which most of which were like, "You won't be there come the end of the season," and yet they were right. And my annual £10 bet for the Dons to win the league continues not to come in. I've been doing that since the 80s. So that's a lot of money squandered, but it's fun. But I think that dismal run was I don't think anyone could understand it.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we were so poor, but to stay third all that time was fantastic. So I'm pretty confident we can get third back because last weekend's game was incredible, absolutely incredible. Shinnie at left back and Clarkson in the midfield worked really well. And I think Thielen is just a great, great manager. And, you have to say this, already looking forward to what transfer business can be done in the summer, So really exciting times.
Yeah, I think there's been some really good indications of what he's trying to introduce, the style of football that he's trying to introduce at Aberdeen. And now that he's had a couple of windows and he's started to filter his own players into the squad, and I think with the summer as well, I think the future bodes well for us, but I still think we need a degree of patience. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. That's the thing. Don's fans are very dour. You know, you have like a okay, I can understand like the negativity, some of the negativity from that poor run of like what 14 games without a
Yeah.
win. But Dons fans, you can get a draw after maybe 3 or 4 good results, and online everyone's going mental and slagging the team off. But we have to be patient because the last three managers haven't haven't worked at all. Um, but crucially, they weren't given the time. I mean, who knows if they had been given the time? But the fact is, they weren't. And Thielen, obviously, previous managers got sacked for less than that bad run. But by giving Thielen time, I think it will bode well for the future. And Aberdeen should be back to where they should be, uh, which is what they were doing all through the 80s and the 90s, and winning in Glasgow and beating the Ugly Sisters. That was the last Dons game I went to was the midweek at home
Was it?
against Rangers because I just had to go because I mean I rarely get to games. I try and get any Scottish gigs to tie in with the fixture list, whether that's home or away. But when I saw that Rangers were at Pittodrie on a Wednesday in November, it coincided with I lecture at Wrexham Uni, but it was reading week, so there's no lectures. And I was straight on to the club because I really want to come. I said, yes, please come. And it was absolutely incredible. It just walking up to the stadium
Yeah.
and the atmosphere, everything. It was like going back in time. Just brilliant.
It's amazing. I was at the Motherwell game last weekend, and when you walk up the steps into what is the Richard Donald stand where I was sat with some pals, and just all of a sudden I can't really explain it, but it's like a home from home. Even though I live out here in Austria, and I know that you live in the northwest of England, it just feels like home, and it feels like you almost belong. And it was
Oh,
almost like
absolutely.
the craving to go more. You know, I was gutted to come away because I was like, I just want more of this all the time. You get me?
I know. No, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's the great thing about the broadcasting these days. You can watch pretty much
Yeah,
most games, but then you go. I don't get to go very often, but when I do, especially a Pittodrie game like that, it's just the hairs on the back of the neck and that sense of being part of something absolutely massive. Of course, this weekend I'll be trying to find somewhere in the middle of the night to watch Aberdeen. Hopefully, they'll be and next weekend as well. And then, of course, annoyingly, I normally manage to get to semi-finals and finals. But because the 13th of April, I've got a gig, so I can't even bloody go to Hampden. But of course, I'm not concerned about that because I will be at Hampden again a few weeks later for the final. I'm
yeah.
confident of that.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm very confident, and it's actually coincided quite well with another gig that I've got in the music hall on the Thursday night. So I'm really
Oh,
hoping that we
excellent.
get to the final because that would work out quite perfectly.
Oh, absolutely
Can you
brilliant. Absolutely
imagine?
brilliant. Exactly.
Graham,
Exactly.
listen, thank you so much for coming on. It's been absolutely brilliant having you on, and have a great time down in Australia. And
I am having a great time, yeah.
yeah, hopefully we can catch up again soon.
All right, cheers, Ali.
Lovely, mate. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Graeme Park, how good was he? Right, a gentle reminder that we've got a very special event coming up at the Music Hall at the end of next month. The Legends return. Brian Irvin, Theo Schnelders, Alex McLeish, and for the first time since their playing days, Hans Hillhouse and Charlie Nicholas will be sharing a stage. This is to celebrate our last Scottish Cup win back in 1919. I've got some great news if you're interested to come along. Thanks to the organisers, they've offered me an exclusive offer to give to you. You will receive a 25% discount off your ticket. You've got to register at the Aberdeen Performing Arts website, and then please use the code AFC 1990. So the code AFC 1990, but you must register with the Performing Arts website first to be able to get your discount. So, I can't wait for that either. Another trip home. And hopefully, if all things go well, because that gig's on the Thursday, and on the Saturday, there's the small matter of a Scottish Cup final. So there could be a cheeky wee trip down the road. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Dons. Right. Deck G's on, wishing you all a good evening. I would stick with a winning team instead of chopping and changing. If we're not great in some areas, then change it. County are good at breaking up play. Any win will do. Charlotte James is here. Hi Charlotte. She says, good evening dandies. Hope you're all feeling okay. Looking forward to our trip tomorrow. Roddy Keenan says, evening Ali and all fellow dandies. Hopefully same team, same performance levels and the same result. Roddy Keenan came back to say, while I've just said I'd like to see the same team, I do think Nisbet plays better with Uday alongside him. Erica Mitchell is here. Hi, Erica. Good evening, everybody. She says, any kind of win will do. 3 points on the lads, please. Graham Gibbs says, actually, it's refreshing the powers that be are not accepting the status quo and are looking to improve things, but 10-team league is not the way to go. Angela Hamilton says, I feel they should expand the league. Reducing it is ridiculous. Sheep on Fire says it's never an easy game up in Dingwall. Another performance like Saturday and we should be okay. Right guys, so we all know it's going to be a really difficult game. Obviously the last time we played Ross County at the end of December, I think it was, where we won 1-0. Dimitar Mitov made a sensational penalty save. Which I think gave us the impetus to really get on. So let me just remind you about what happened in that game. I sort of went back and had a look at the match stats. So in the game, we enjoyed the bulk of possession. It was 65.4% to their 34.6%. We had 9 shots to their 8, of which actually only 3 were on target. But at the end of the day, the one that counted the most was Kevin Nisbet's winner in the 97th minute. This is where I find it quite interesting because last week against Motherwell, we had double that amount of touches inside the box. So against Ross County, we had 14 touches inside their box. That needs to be improved upon. But you can see again the difference about how much possession we did enjoy up in Dingwall the last time. We total passes was 494 to their 267. But at the end of the day, I know stats are there and all that kind of stuff, and it's there for the coaches to look back on and to use to put their game plan together. And I know that a lot of you out there will argue that stats don't mean a jot. But I just thought it'd be interesting to put it together so that you could see, how difficult Ross County do actually make it for us, even if we have that amount of possession. So tomorrow, again, it's going to be really important that we take our chances. And we're not sloppy at the beginning of the game. Last week, we didn't exactly start very well, lost a goal within 5 minutes. Thank God we recovered. And to be honest with you, we absolutely battered Motherwell after that, which was great to see. But we keep saying it, we can't start games sloppy. Because if they punish us tomorrow, it's going to be a slog. I really think that. Hence why I think if we can unsettle them quite early, just ping balls at them, get Kevin sort of in and around the 18-yard box. And I must admit, I would like to see if he employs the same tactics as last week with Leighton playing a little bit deeper so he can ping the ball about. I think the game will be a little bit narrow, maybe. Let's see. Time will tell. Guys, one last thing to do before we finish off, and I'll get back to some more of your comments. Don't forget, if you've enjoyed the show tonight, please give it an old like. Thank you for your comments that have come in. And don't forget to subscribe. We've still got quite a high percentage of people that watch the show that don't actually subscribe to the show. So if you've enjoyed the watch and you can see all the changes that we're making on the channel, please do subscribe. It just means you're following us. There's no payment that needs to be made or anything like that. And it would be absolutely great if you could continue to follow us so that we build the numbers and get us further and further towards the 5,000 mark, which is obviously the next goal. And we're about, where are we now? We're just over 4,200. So yeah, we're building nicely. Barry Cole said, Ross County, they're full of hammer throwers. They are, mate. But it's up to us to make sure that we play our game and we stop that. David Gall said, a 14-team league with a split. That's one of the options being looked at currently. So there we are. Right, guys. David Gold came back to say, come on, you Reds. Right, we're going to call it. Oh, there was one last comment there. What was that? Yep, Sugarland just reminding everybody to like the old show. So look, the very best of luck to the lads tomorrow. We know what we've got to do. We know how we've got to play. If we can continue the form that we showed last week, that would be a huge bonus. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to see us sort of go back to how we played against St Johnstone. Last week, there was a marked improvement on the performance against St Johnstone. And what I'm hoping is that we see the same sort of improvement. And that we see the type, the way that Jimmy wants us to play football. The way he wants things to be better, more sharper, more dangerous. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm hoping for tomorrow. I really don't hope we slip back into the bad habits that we showed against St Johnstone. So guys, we'll be back on Sunday night for the review show. Andrew Budge again will be here to go through all the analysis. So have a fantastic weekend. If you are travelling to the game tomorrow, have a brilliant trip, have a safe trip, and I'll see you all on Sunday. Take very good care of yourselves. Stand free.